Look, we all agree America must never default. The debt ceiling will need to be raised. We have a Democratic president, Democratic House, Democratic Senate. They have decided to, with the possible exception of infrastructure, all year long to operate on a partisan basis. A $1.9 trillion bill earlier this year that all of us opposed for darn good reason, and this reckless tax and spending measure, which could range from $3.5 trillion to $5 trillion. So my advice to this Democratic government, the President, the House, and the Senate, don't play Russian roulette with our economy. Step up and raise the debt ceiling to cover all that you've been engaged in all year long.
If the United States defaulted on its debt, that makes all of our obligations, our financial obligations around the world, suspect. And right now, the US dollar that's the reserve currency. That's what everyone wants. That's what they know you can depend on. You have a bond. We know that the United States stands behind its currency. The United States stands behind its debt obligations. We default on that debt, and it just throws it all into chaos. That is costly to the United States, but it's also enormously disruptive to financial systems around the world. The politics that the Republicans are playing right now is not only bad for our country, it is dangerous for our country.
Look, we've been willing to work with them on a bipartisan basis all through the COVID-19 emergency. We spent trillions of dollars on a bipartisan basis because it was an emergency. But now they want to continue to spending borrowed money on their ideological and partisan agenda on non-emergency items. But we've demonstrated we would work with them on things like infrastructure, things like the Endless Frontiers Act, for example. But now, since they've chosen to go it alone, they're going to have to raise the debt ceiling alone.
So why would you prefer them to raise the debt limit instead of suspend the debt limit?
Well, I mean, the way to do it, if they want to do it at 51 votes, is to do it through reconciliation, which requires them to specify a number, which is one of the reasons they're reluctant to do it. They don't want to have a number attached to how much money they're going to spend. I mean, it's going to be a reminder to the American people about how much spending they're doing and how much debt they're going to rack up doing it. So, but that's the mechanism to do it at 51. Now, if they decide they don't want to enact their entire agenda at 51, if they pull the $3.5 trillion reconciliation bill down and enter into negotiations with Republicans, I think you could probably, find a different scenario. But as of right now, at least, that's their plan, and our expectation is that they will have very little, if any, Republican support on raising the debt limit to accommodate this massive run-up in spending.
The one thing we cannot do is default. And I think about my Republican friends. Understandably, they don't want to. They have been concerned about increased spending. Well, they allow a default. You will see interest rates go up, and if they go up simply 1%, that'll add $200 billion a year in additional interest costs. So on a 10-year basis, let me finish my answer, right? A little courtesy. On a 10-year basis, that'll add $2 trillion on mandatory spending in front of Social Security, in front of the military, in front of Medicare. That would be a self-inflicted blow that would be horrible for our country.
Senator.